What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Brand Marks the Spot. I'm your brand buddy, Patrick Sesko, and this show is all about branding and design and how to leverage those things so you can grow your business and impact more people. And again, my name is Patrick Sesko. I'm your brand buddy, and this is the last episode of 2020. And 2020 has been a doozy of a year, has it not? So I'm just checking to make sure that I am live. Let me just log up in here. Here we go. All right. So this episode, we're going to be talking about the 5 ways to audit your brand for growth in 2021. Now, at the end of the year, most businesses do planning sessions and plan out your promotions and things like that for 2021 or for the following year. And we use this time to sort of focus on our promotions, but oftentimes the branding side of things go unchecked, right? So the end of the year is also a time to audit your brand and see what's working, what's not working, what needs to pivot. How was your year? How did things work this past year? And we're going to look at a couple of those things, and hopefully that'll help you set you up for growth in 2021. So before we get started, this episode is brought to you by my brand roadmap. And this is actually a perfect tool right now to use to audit your brand. In fact, I use this to audit my client brands. And it just basically walks you through all the components of your brand. And it's not just your visuals, it's the strategic side of brands, and it's the development side, and it's also your design and your visuals as well. So go ahead and grab that at patricksesko.com/brand roadmap, and that will help you audit your brand. When after you go through this episode, you can use this to sort of augment the episode and the PDF. So anyways, without further ado, let's get started with 5 things you can do to audit your brand for growth in 2021. And the first thing we want to look back as reconnecting with your why. So what is that? So oftentimes we get so engrossed in our businesses that we sometimes forget why we went into business. And I think it's important to always sort of reconnect with that on a regular basis, not just at the end of the year. Like, why did you go in business? And, most people would say, yeah, I went into business to make money, right? Of course we all did, right? That's why we go into business, is to make money and, make a living. But, dig deeper and, reconnect with that. So why did you go into business? Yes, I went into make money. Why did you want to make money? Well, because I wanted to, provide for my family. Obviously, if you have a family. Well, why do you want to provide for your family? It's because I want them to have a good life. Well, why do you want them to have a good life? So we can have freedom. So you ask these multiple stages of why and dig down deep into the reason why you're in business, and see, if you truly are still connecting with that and still sort of showing that in your business as you put yourself out there. All right. So number 2, is your ICA still relevant? So if you're not quite sure what an ICA is, ICA stands for Ideal Customer Avatar or Ideal Customer Profile, but it's basically a snapshot of who your ideal customer is. And that oftentimes can evolve over time. So, if you started out with a specific ideal customer in mind at the beginning of the year, when you started the year off, sometimes our products and services change, and we want to make sure that ICA is still relevant and still in line with what we're putting out there. So, if you're trying to sell, say, yoga classes or fitness classes or something like that, and the person has already become fit over the course of this year, is your ICA now still the person who wasn't fit before, or now is your ICA the person who is now fit and needs to maintain? So look at those things in your business. There's no right or wrong way. You just want to make sure that the people that you're focusing on with your content and your products and services are still relevant and still connect with what it is that you offer. So then we'll go to number 3 is you want to audit your positioning and your messaging. Now, if you're not quite sure what positioning and messaging is, if you, let me pop this up on the screen here. If you grab my brand roadmap at patricksesko.com/brand roadmap, it'll give you a synopsis of all of these things that I'm talking about and more. But the messaging and positioning. So positioning is basically where you are situated versus, against your competition. And I say competition in a light sense. It's not like you're competing per se, but how are you different from the people who do the same thing as you? Is it, is it based on your price? Is it based on your personality? Is it based on a specific or a proprietary process? Is it based on a brand archetype? So make sure your positioning is still effective, so do another audit. Take a look at what your competition is doing. Take a look at what similar people are doing in your space, and see if you are still differentiated from them in a way that's going to make you stand out. Now, your messaging is basically what you say and how you say it, when you say it, and kind of makes the case for, what it is that you do. So you want to make sure that your messaging is still relevant to your ICA. So if your ICA has changed, your messaging might have to change. Or if your messaging is changing, or if you're switching gears, because there's a lot of pivoting that had happened in 2020, that's for sure. So if your ICA has changed or your messaging has changed, you want to make sure that they're in line, because if one of those things change, you typically can't continue with the same messaging, or you could have a new messaging for the same ICA depending on what their problems are and what what problems they need solved. But again, you need to look at these things, write them out again, make sure everything's lining up, make sure it feels good to you from an intuitive perspective. And so you want to make sure, again, messaging and positioning are still in line, still relevant. Just give that a once over. You should always do that once or twice a year at least, unless you make a significant change in your business, or unless, there was unless we have a pandemic thrown upon us, that might switch things up. I'm going to get a sip of my coffee here. Okay, let's go on to number 4. Is your visual presence still effective? Now, this is sort of my wheelhouse here. This is your brand identity. This is your websites, your web pages, your landing pages, your social media graphics, your PDFs, everything that you put out there that's forward facing, that your customers and your audience will see. Is it still effective? Is it consistent? I preach consistency almost to the point where I'm blue in the face, because it's so important, because I've said it 1,000 times, your audience will have to be exposed to your brand, 5 to 7 times at a minimum before they start to remember your brand. And if the messaging and positioning is not consistent, and then your visuals are not consistent, so if you see say a Facebook ad for a freebie, you have an ad that's there. And if it's like an image ad, or, if it's like a designed image ad, and then they go to your website or your landing page and it looks completely different, and then they download the PDF and that looks completely different, there's a huge disconnect. So, obviously you do the best that you can to get your stuff out there, but consistency is so important from just a subconscious level, because people make decisions based on emotions. And if the visuals aren't consistent, they will not make this sort of subconscious connection that it's always you. And again, 5 to 7 times that you're going to have to be exposed to your audience. And, keep in mind, if you're on social media, which most of us are, the half-life of a post or something like that is, an hour, if that, because people are just scrolling through. So don't be afraid to get your stuff out there in a consistent way, and you will see definitely more growth in your audience, and your likes and your engagement. And then also think about things like, is your logo still effective if you have one? Is the visuals, is your color palette still in line with your brand personality? All those things, just give it an audit, look at it and say, all right, do I still feel good about this? Now, one caveat I will say, it's very easy from the perspective of our own businesses to get really sick of looking at our visuals, because we're looking at it day in, day out. We're creating graphics. We're on our web pages. We're in our email list constantly. And it can be very easy to sort of get sick of your brand, because it might feel stale to you because you're just in it nonstop 24/7. But remember that your audience is not, which is why it's so important that you are consistent and keep with it. Unless it is completely ineffective, then go ahead and change it up. But obviously, you might need to work with somebody like me or another designer or a brand strategist to sort of uh, dive deep into the details as to what needs to be changed and how that can be fixed. But again, most people will get sick of their brand and change it just for change's sake. And it's just very arbitrary, and it can be damaging to your business and your trust with your audience. So keep that in mind as well. And then lastly, do your offers, your products and services, do they still serve your audience? Now, this kind of connects back to your ICA. So you want to make sure that your products and services are still relevant to the audience that you're serving, and this is the audience that you are, putting your stuff out there to. So if your ICA has changed, then maybe your products and services need to change or be updated or pivot. So take stock of what you've got, and see if that is still in line with the audience that you serve. And a good way to test this is if you have an email list or if you have an audience, survey them, ask them, say, hey, what it is that they're struggling with. If you have customers from previous products, services, programs, one-on-one courses, ask them, connect with them, because social media is so powerful, and that people just use that as like a broadcasting tool mostly. And I would like to see more people connect with social media, because that's what it is. It's social. And you can see this badass box here. That was an event I went to a couple weeks ago. Bobby Klink hosted a virtual event. It was a marketing event. It was awesome. And one of the themes was that the era of personal service is back. So take that into consideration, because so many people are kind of just sick and tired of having courses thrown at them. And it's like this sort of pipe dream of everybody wants to build a course and make $1 million while they're sitting with their feet up on the beach drinking cocktails. That's not reality, in my opinion. Maybe there's a handful of people that can still that can do that, and maybe in the early stages of this online marketing thing, online entrepreneurs, people might have been able to do that. But I think it's much harder because people are more keen to it. So do your offers, products and services still relevant to your audience. So do an audit of that, and maybe you need to create a new offer, or maybe you need to find a gap there that your ideal customer might need help with. Maybe there's a disconnect from your entry level product to a high ticket product, or maybe your freebie is not connecting with them. So go ahead and do that. And these are just the 5 things that you can do to audit your brand for growth in 2021. If you kind of look at these things and take stock of it and audit those things, you will have a better sort of 30,000 foot view of what you might need to change, or what's working, what's not working, and that will help you with growth in 2021. So with that said, that's all I've got for you today in this episode. And because this is the last episode of 2020, I just want to say thank you guys for listening and watching and being here with me. I appreciate it. This has been an awesome journey this year. It's been a crazy journey. I'm really looking forward to a killer 2021. And I'm going to finish up my yearly planning here this week before the new year, and take a couple of days of rest. You can see I'm a little bit like a little bit of a cold coming on. But other than that, I'm feeling good. And so I just want to wish you guys a happy new year. And if you have any questions, leave a comment here, and I will definitely respond. And don't forget to grab the brand roadmap at patricksesko.com/brand roadmap. And you can go ahead and start your 2021 off with a bang. All right, guys, that's it for this year. You guys have a wonderful year, and we'll see you next year. Talk to you soon. Later.